Boom. Recording?
Yeah. Hey guys, I think we're starting now. Is that right? Are we started?
Yes.
We're good?
I think.
Okay. Lovely friend here, Mary Kate, is going to be filming. And then there's some place, I'm not familiar with Zoom, but there's some place where you can just like write your questions. And Mary Kate will read them to me and I will try my best to answer them. So the first things first is I need everybody to pour a drink of their choice because cooking is fun and you should always drink while cooking because why not? So cheers everybody. Sorry
Cheers.
that we can't physically be here and together, but at least we can have this fun virtual cooking class and I can't wait until life goes back to normal and we can actually do this face to face. So cheers everybody. All right. So today we're going to be making some honey soy salmon, some red potato mashed potatoes, and some roasted Brussels sprouts. So the first thing we're going to get started on right now, because it's going to take the longest, are the potatoes. And so get a little saucepan like this, and we're going to take these potatoes here, and they're about a medium dice, depending on the potato. We're just going to put it in there. We're going to fill it up with some water. Kind of just like that. And then you want to season the water with a little bit of salt. So we'll get that on the stove top right here at about a medium to high heat. So if you're using your Vertus oven, that's going to probably be around a 7. So that's just going to sit there and come to a boil. Obviously, the potatoes are going to get soft, and then we're going to add some butter and cream and kind of mash it together. In the meantime, we're going to make the marinade for the salmon. And what I love about this marinade is that you can do it on cod, you can do it on shrimp, you can do it on steak, you can do it on chicken. So it kind of goes across the board. And so we're going to start with about half a cup of soy sauce. And if you're gluten-free, you can use tamarind sauce. It's very similar, but just gluten-free. So we're going to put that in there. We're going to do about a tablespoon of honey. And what's awesome is that I got all this stuff from Trader Joe's. So like you can just walk across the street, put your gloves on, and head on out. Then this is some minced garlic. And I'm gonna take about, let's say a teaspoon of garlic, put that in there. Some smoked paprika. And this is about half a teaspoon. Some pepper. And just a dash of salt. Now remember the soy sauce is salty, so like you don't want to over salt your salmon. And then if you've done a cooking class with me, you know that this is one of my favorite cooking tools here. It's Microplane Zester, and it's so good for grating fresh garlic, and also I love to use it for getting lemon zest, lime zest, orange zest, whatever it is. And so you want to be careful because you can zest your finger, and that honestly does kind of hurt. But we're just going to put the zest in there. And it's so crazy how much the zest adds to the dish. I mean, it's something that's so simple and something a lot of people typically throw away, but it really does a lot for the dish. So we're going to zest about half a lemon. And then you can save this, to make a cocktail with afterwards. And that's going to be the marinade. So then you're going to grab a whisk. Kind of just whisk that in so it's all together. And this is kind of what it'll look like here. Okay. And so this is my salmon fillet here. I got a skin on. So hello guys. I thought that we were already filming, and so I kind of started cooking by myself, I guess. So we're gonna just quick recap. I just started like a couple minutes ago, so just kind of get you fast tracking what we're doing here. Over here on the stove, I have the potatoes cooking. And let me just grab them here. They're just these like red potatoes that I put water and salt in the pot. And now we're just gonna cook them until they're soft, because we're gonna make some red potato mashed potatoes. And so those are gonna cook to get soft. The oven is preheated right now at 425 for the salmon and for the Brussels sprouts. And I was just actually finishing up the salmon marinade. And so just to go over it, it's about half a cup of soy sauce. If you're gluten-free, you can use tamarind sauce. Very similar in flavor, just gluten-free. I put about half a tablespoon of chopped garlic in here, a tablespoon of honey, some salt and pepper, but I went a little light on the salt because, you know, soy sauce is a little bit salty too, so you don't want to over salt. And then I zested about half a lemon. And like I said earlier, if you've done any of the cooking classes here with me, you know that this is my favorite tool, because it really takes something very simple like a lemon, and you can use the zest and really brighten up your dish with minimal effort. And I just love it. And if you haven't already poured yourself a drink, please do that now, because cooking should be fun. And so once you get all these ingredients in here, oh, I'm sorry, I also added the smoked paprika. And I added about half a teaspoon of that. It just kind of gives it depth and a little smokiness to it. And so we're going to whisk that in all together here, like so. And then this is my salmon fillet. So this is an Alaskan wild sockeye salmon. You can tell that the color is a little bit darker than Atlantic salmon. And it's the meat, I think, personally for this one is a little bit more meatier than the Atlantic salmon. I personally like the Atlantic salmon better, but Trader Joe's only had this full disclosure, so this is what we're using with now. So again, if you have Atlantic salmon, it doesn't matter. I like it better. So then after we get the marinade in here, we're just going to set it down with the flesh into the marinade. You kind of just let that sit like that. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
Cool. Let it sit and kind of develop in flavor. And then I'm going to quickly just wash my hands so I don't make everything smell like salmon. And guys, the lovely Mary Kate here is filming this for me. She's a good friend and always came to my cooking classes, so that's fun. Okay, and so the potatoes are boiling. We've got our salmon marinating. And what I love about this dish is, like, honestly, it doesn't take a long time to cook together, but when you're done with it, and like if you made it for friends, they're gonna be like, wow, you really put a lot of effort into this. And it's like, no, I didn't, but I'm gonna have to say it. And so what we're gonna start doing now is working on the Brussels sprouts. And so I've realized that a lot of people kind of are a little intimidated by Brussels sprouts for some reason when they want to cook them themselves, because, you know, they're hard, and sometimes you cook them in the oven at like a low temperature and they kind of get brown and soggy and it's not so delicious. But the best way, I think, to cook Brussels sprouts is on a high heat. So I have the oven right now at 425, and these are, I've already kind of pre-halved them, so it just kind of depends on the bite that you want with the Brussels. So I'm gonna go ahead and just quarter them, because these are actually pretty good Brussels. In here, we have any questions yet?
We do not.
No question. Oh, I forgot to say, or maybe I didn't, but if you have any questions, you can just type them down, and Mary Kate will read them to me, and I will try my best to answer them for you.
And Wallace did say that you should have your own show.
Oh, well, what would my show be called, though?
She also asked, what is your favorite food?
Ooh, and Wallace with the questions here. Okay, well, my favorite food, I guess I would have to say, is anything with seafood. Like, I love crab, I love lobster, I love shrimp. So probably anything with seafood. I love oysters. I mean, I could eat like 60 oysters in one sitting if I had to. So, but yeah, what would my cooking show called? You think? Any suggestions? We'll have to think about that.
Yep. Radically Rahaf.
Oh, is that what Ann Wallace came
Yes.
up with? Clever.
I cannot take that as my own.
Okay, well, let's pitch that to the Food Network and see what they think.
Yes.
All right, let's get these Brussels sprouts here. So that's these half and quartered. We're gonna do some olive oil and just coat them because this is actually one of the most important steps of getting crispy Brussels sprouts. We're just gonna toss them a little bit in the oil. Then some salt and pepper, and we're gonna season from the top because it evenly distributes the seasoning this way. Some pepper. And then we're gonna hit it with a little bit of chopped garlic. And so then we're just gonna give these a toss here. And that's what they'll look like in here. And then this is just some parchment paper. We're gonna throw them on the parchment here. Even layer, because if you don't do an even layer, they're gonna steam and they're not gonna roast. And like steamed Brussels are not as delicious as roasted Brussels, in my opinion. So there they are. They're gonna pop in the oven for about 12 to 15 minutes there. Just gonna set a timer. Always set a timer, guys. It's just like, I always tell myself, oh, I don't need a timer, I'll remember it. And then I don't set a timer, and then I don't remember it, and then I burn my food, and I hate it. So that's in there. And so with the salmon, obviously you can cook salmon many different ways. But I think like the fail-proof method is the method I'm about to show you now. And so again, we have another pan here with some parchment paper. And we're gonna put a little bit of olive oil, or if you have like pan spray or whatever, that you just want something so it doesn't stick. And then we're gonna take the salmon and that's been in this marinade. And you could pre-marinate this like overnight and just get overflow in here. Overflowing. That here. Okay. And we're gonna take this salmon over here, and we're gonna put it skin side down. And what I was saying earlier is that you can pre-marinate this overnight. It's just gonna be more flavorful and delicious, and why not? And I mean, I've done this before where, you know, I'm not gonna use the whole marinade necessarily, so you could actually just save this, or like marinate the other fillet if you're cooking for one and just freeze that. And then next time you want to make salmon, you just pop it out. It's already marinated, ready to go. You just put it. So I just drizzled a little bit on top here. Like you can tell, like the salmon really absorbs the marinade that you put in it. Like you can already kind of see how it's already penetrated in the color. And so we're gonna put that in the oven for about. Now it's gonna depend on a couple things here. How long you cook the salmon. I like to cook it at 425, but like the sockeye salmon is actually not as thick as the Atlantic salmon. So this is probably going to take 7 to 8 minutes to cook, where if this was an Atlantic salmon, it's probably going to take 8 to 10 minutes. So kind of just adjust and vary depending on the size of your salmon. If you have a salmon that's like really thick, it's going to take longer. But you know, just cook it however you like it. Some people like it all the way cooked. Some people like it medium rare. Just follow your heart. So we're gonna put this also in the oven here for about 8 minutes.
How are you?
I'm gonna check on the potatoes here.
We have one question.
One question. All right.
How are you cooking it today? Like to medium rare or well done?
I'm gonna cook it about medium, medium to medium well. just because that's typically the most approachable way that people like to eat salmon. And so let's see, the potatoes here are almost done. A couple more minutes on those. And these potatoes, I'm kind of doing in a little bit more rustic style. But I'll talk more about that when we get there. So while we are waiting, does anybody have any other questions, or what would you like to see for the next cooking class? Any favorites, anything you've never cooked before, you want to learn how to cook? Feel free to type it in, and then Mary Kate will relay it to me.
Yes.
No questions?
Not yet. I'm sure they're coming.
I hope everybody's just been hanging out, having fun during this very weird time that's happening.
And Walla said she would like to see you cook steak.
Steak, okay.
I would like to see that as well.
Would you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What kind of steak, Aunt Wallace?
Filet.
Filet.
And I agree.
Okay, cool. We can totally do that next. I love cooking filet because it's like so tender, it's lean. And we could do it on the skillet, you could do it on the grill.
She said maybe in the oven, question mark.
Ooh, maybe in the oven. So
like a pan, maybe?
So you can, so to get a good sear on a steak, you need to sear it. Like you can't, in my opinion, just take a steak, put salt and pepper, and put it in the oven, because it's not gonna get that nice brown sear that you always want with the steak. So if you do wanna cook it in the oven, get a pan and make it pretty hot with the oil, and then you can actually just put the meat on it after the pan gets hot. You put the steak on it, and then it will get a good sear, and then you can flip it, put it in the oven, and then cook it to your desired depth.
We also have another request for short rib, and I second that.
Oh,
love a short rib.
Short rib.
Mm.
And so we have a special guest over here. Just
Sorry, everybody.
had to get some, just more bubbles for this cooking class. So Sam Carrington, everybody.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Anyways, so the short ribs, I love short ribs. Now, are we talking Korean short ribs? Are we talking just American style beef short ribs, Italian? What are we talking about here?
I was thinking
Bone in,
normal.
boneless, normal.
Bone
Okay.
in,
Bone in. Okay.
but I'm waiting to get an answer.
Okay. Get an answer.
Okay.
Get an answer. But let me tell you something. Short ribs are one of my favorite things to do. The way I like to personally do them are with a sous vide. And not everybody has a sous vide, but everybody almost has a crock pot or an Instant Pot, and you could do it just as well with those two. Now I really want some short ribs.
Me too. She said maybe in an Instant Pot. That'd be
You could
awesome.
totally do an instant part.
Or sous vide. Yeah, she said they have one
Oh,
too.
you have a sous vide? Excellent. Not many people have that. I love a sous vide. I mean, you can do so much sous vide, and you can set it and forget it. So we could totally do that.
Yeah.
Anything else?
She said she makes yogurt using the sous vide.
Really?
I would like to know more about that. Yeah.
How to do that? I wonder, are you just using the milk? Are you just using the milk, or what are you doing? What are you putting in the bag? Who's asking this question?
It is from Mark and Rosemary.
Mark and Rosemary.
She said in jars.
Huh. Oh, okay. That
I
makes
like
sense. That makes sense. I like it. Well, maybe we could have like a little trade-off here, or you could just join on next time and
Special guest.
help me make the yogurt.
She said down the hall from you.
She lives down the hall from me.
Mm-hmm.
Huh, neighbors. All right, so let me check on these potatoes over here.
Oh, you found the one I was talking about.
All right, so those potatoes are going to be done in about 2 minutes. They're almost there. This is why we put them on first, because they're going to take the longest, obviously. But once those are done cooking, putting it together, it's going to be so easy. We got about 4.5 more minutes on the salmon and the Brussels sprouts. And that's what I like about this dish. Like, you can kind of get everything done all at the same time. It's all about timing. So get your potatoes on first, put your Brussels in second, do your salmon next. And so for the potatoes, we have some heavy cream, and we have some butter. Round of Rahaf. That sounds more like the extreme sporting show than a cooking show.
Yeah, we got to work on that.
You know, I guess that it can be a little bit extreme sometimes.
She said she'll keep working too.
Yeah, Yeah, I can't think of it right now, but I'm sure it'll come to me. All right, let's see here. Cool. So these bad boys here are done. So I'm gonna still leave the stove on, but I'm just gonna take it to about a medium low. And I'm gonna strain these potatoes. Okay, but then I'm gonna put them back in the pot. Take the heavy creams. You can use half and half or milk if you kind of want to cut the fat on it, but I mean, we're in quarantine. Let's not do that right now.
No.
So we're gonna, this is about a pint here. So it's probably about a cup of cream, but we're kind of just gonna submerge that the potatoes in. And then obviously butter, because why not? And we're gonna do about 2 tablespoons of butter. We're just gonna drop it in there. And then put it back on the stove just so the butter melts into the cream. Okay. And then we have about 2 minutes left. I'm just gonna take the Brussels. I'm just gonna give them a quick toss so they well, that's a lot of stuff. So they get roasted evenly. Just a little.
They smell amazing.
Do you see how like bright green they are? And they're not like grabby and they're kind of like this. I love this. Look how crispy and delicious that is.
Yes.
And Brussels tip. That's gonna be the new craze. Brussels tip. Okay. And so they'll have a couple more minutes now. And the salmon is looking pretty good. So look at that there.
Ooh.
I mean, I wish you guys, I wish you guys could smell this because it smells so good. Well, like, so with the steak, sorry, we're kidding. I think I splashed up and marinated it. With like steak, chicken, fish, you can always tell how it's cooked by touching it. And like, you can also tell if it's overcooked by the texture too. So if it's overcooked, like you're not gonna have a lot of pushback. This is perfectly cooked because if you see here, when you touch it, it has that little bit of bounce back and you're like, okay. So we're gonna let that rest for a little bit. Boom. And now this butter here is almost melted into the cream. Well, I love mashed potatoes, guys. And like, I like this because, I don't know, sometimes I'll use like Yukon Gold potatoes for mashed potatoes and they're lovely, but there's something about just having the skin sometimes on the potatoes that just make them, I don't know, taste a little bit more depth and flavor and a little rustic. And I think right now, especially when everybody's in quarantine, they're kind of looking for some comfort. And this is just a very comforting dish. But if you think about it, the mashed potatoes are the only thing that really has any fat to it. I mean, the salmon's healthy, the Brussels sprouts are healthy. So you can have a comforting meal without feeling too bad, you know, about it. And now these are, you can tell a potato's done and everything's good when you can put your fork in it all the way and there's no pushback. So that's boom. And so we're going to take this over here. And so this is a mashed potato masher. I don't know if people are familiar with this. I always use it for mashed potatoes. If you wanted to take this and make it kind of fancier, you could also just take this mixture and put it in your blender and it's going to be smoother. So it's going to be more of a puree than a mash. And then just be careful not to splash your face because it is hot. Just gonna mash away here. I'm actually gonna reduce a little bit of the liquid.
Can we see how much you have left?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So, not too much, but oh, this smells so good.
It really does.
And you know, also, don't feel bad about eating this because look at the arm workout you're getting. You know, it's like woo. But again, I'm kind of going for like a rustic, kind of chunky mash because with the skin on, I kind of want to taste it and I want to get the texture of it. And so as you remembered, we salted the water. So the potatoes are kind of already seasoned already. But we're just gonna, I'm a big fan of black pepper. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of black pepper to this. And just a dash of salt. Cool. So that's coming together beautifully. It's creamy, it's lush, it's delicious. Mary Kate will give you guys a full review after she taste tests. Yes. Okay. So do you see that's kind of now, it's not super smooth, it's not super chunky, it's a good mash. Again, though, if you wanted it to be like a super smooth puree, totally do it. Put it in your blender, pulse it a couple times, and you'll be good to go. But just make sure that you don't start it on high heat because potatoes have a lot of starch. And if you do start on a high heat for too long, you could make potatoes gummy. And texturally, they're gonna taste a little off. They'll still taste good, but the texture will be iffy. We're gonna put that back on here, and our Brussels should be ready to roll. Oh yeah. Okay. Like here are Brussels, roasty, charred. You know, you get a little crispies on here. And they're bright green. They look beautiful. So now, my favorite part of making a dish is plating a dish. And so, let me get a plate. I think I might use the black ones. Which plate should we use? White? Or this one?
Do that one.
I think this one.
Yeah.
I'll play it.
Okay. And now we're gonna get, I like to put the starch on the bottom. So let's get a little fancy with this, right?
Yes.
So we're gonna take this here, put it on the side of the plate, and just use the back of your spoon to just do a quick swoop. So it's kind of like that. Make a little nest, right, for the Brussels. I'm gonna add a little bit more because let's be real, a little bit more potatoes. And then we're gonna take the Brussels. And I like to make height when I plate a dish, so we're gonna put that kind of right there, like that. And then, obviously, the masterpiece here. And so, I'm somebody that loves salmon skin. Love it, love it, love it. I know that's not for everybody. But if, let's say, you did want to make the salmon skin crispy, just flip over the salmon about 3 minutes before you're taking it out, and it's going to crisp up the skin if you want to keep it off. For this demo, I did not do that just because I'm trying to make this as approachable as possible, and not everybody likes the skin. And so then we're just going to put that on top here, kind of adjacent. All right. And then just for more brightness and color, we're going to take our zester again, which again, my favorite tool, right? And just zest some thing, and it just brings it that bright color. It's beautiful. Boom. And then if you had some microgreens, herbs, or whatever, you could put it on top here. But this is essentially what we did. And so if you guys actually made this dish at home right now while we're doing this, take a picture, send it to Ann Wallace, send it to me. Let me see what you did. I think it would be so fun. And then maybe next time you make it, you could make it for me because nobody cooks for me ever. It would be nice. And then there you have it, guys. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Any more questions before we wrap this up?
We have some thank yous, lots of thank yous.
Oh yeah, you guys are welcome. Thank you for watching. We're gonna figure out what we're gonna cook next week, and we'll get that posted on all the socials, and then we can do this again. And just don't forget to go to Trader Joe's, get the ingredients, cook with me. We can have fun. Always bring bubbles.
Yay! Yeah.
All right, are we done?
I think we are.
All right, bye guys.